Hello, welcome to U.S. Immigration Updates. This is your weekly news bulletin, with the latest U.S. immigration news, events, announcements and new policy changes that happened between August 16 to August 20, 2021. In this video, we will provide you the quick recap on the weekly immigration updates happened right from President Biden to every U.S. agencies, such as USCIS, Department of State, DHS, embassies and more. If you are interested in any of these topics, please stick around till the end of this video for your immigration updates. If you are liking this video, please hit the subscribe button, like this video and click the bell icon so that you can instantly receive any new updates right on your YouTube home page of your smartphone or smart devices. Now, let's get into the bulletin and find out what is the latest happening around the U.S. immigration. Let's see the first breaking news of the week. Courts deliver setbacks to Biden administration immigration agenda. While the Biden administration focuses on the Afghanistan evacuation crisis, serious problems are rising up at the U.S.-Mexico border with increasing numbers of unaccompanied children and two important court rulings complicating the administration's efforts to implement its immigration policies. The most recent border numbers show that in July authorities encountered an unprecedented number of migrants at the southern border. There were about 212,672 encounters, among them 154,288 who were first-time crossers. The data included nearly 19,000 unaccompanied children, an increase of 24% over June. On Friday, a Trump-appointed judge ordered the Biden administration to reinstate the Migrant Protection Protocols policy, which President Biden had suspended in January of 2021. The policy requires many asylum seekers who arrive at the southern border of the U.S. to stay in Mexico while they wait for their hearing on their asylum claims. The decision is expected to be appealed to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals and then potentially in front of the Supreme Court. USCIS to help evacuate Afghan allies. The Biden administration is asking USCIS employees to volunteer for assignments to evacuate tens of thousands of Afghans who aided U.S. forces. There are up to 30,000 Afghans and their families are eligible for the Special Immigrant Visa, which allows them to live in the U.S. permanently. Now, let's look at latest updates received from USCIS. Number 1. DHS and DOJ publish notice of proposed rulemaking to make asylum process more efficient and ensure fairness. In a key step toward implementing the administration's blueprint for a fair, orderly, and humane immigration system, the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, and Department of Justice, DOJ, are publishing a Notice of Proposed Rulemaking, NPRM, that would amend current regulations to improve the processing of asylum claims. The proposed rule would allow U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS, asylum officers to hear and decide applications for asylum, withholding of removal, and Convention Against Torture, CAT, protection for individuals who receive a positive credible fear determination. These cases are currently assigned to immigration judges within DOJ's Executive Office for Immigration Review. Number 2. USCIS reaches settlement agreement in No Blank Space Rejection Policy case. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services reached a settlement agreement that allows certain individuals to receive updated receipt dates for resubmitted immigration benefit applications or petitions originally rejected under the former No Blank Space Rejection Policy. Under this former policy, USCIS rejected filings with any blank fields or spaces. The U.S. District Court, Northern District of California, Oakland Division, granted final approval of the settlement agreement. This agreement is specific to the No Blank Space rejection policy that was applied to three forms: A Form I-589, application for asylum and for withholding of removal; B Form I-918, petition for U non-immigrant status; and C Form I-918, Supplement A, petition for qualifying family member of U-1 recipient. Individuals whose forms were rejected under the former policy may resubmit their request on or before July 20, 2022, to obtain an updated receipt reflecting the date their rejected request was originally filed. Individuals who had resubmitted these forms before the effective date of this settlement agreement, July 20, 2021, may also submit documentation on or before July 20, 2022, to obtain an updated receipt date. Number 3. Cap reached for remaining H-2B visas for returning workers for FY 2021. As of August 13, 2021, USCIS has received enough petitions for returning workers to reach the additional 22,000 H-2B visas made available under the FY 2021 H-2B Supplemental Visa Temporary Final Rule. USCIS told, it will reject and return any cap-subject petitions for H-2B returning workers received after August 13, together with any accompanying fees. Number 4. DHS seeks public comment on public charge rulemaking. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security is seeking data and information from the public that DHS intends to use to develop a public charge regulatory proposal. The purpose of public comment is to ensure that the proposal is fair, consistent with law, and informed by relevant data and evidence. Public comment also will help DHS ensure that the proposed regulation does not impose undue burdens on non-citizens seeking admission to or adjustment of status in the United States. It is critical that immigrants, many of whom are essential and frontline workers, can access necessary government services for which they are eligible to keep their families safe and healthy, said M. Jadot, Director of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. DHS is taking an essential step to implement a fair and rational rule that does not cause fear and confusion among immigrant communities. We will continue to uphold this administration's efforts to remove undue barriers in the immigration system and sources of fear that prevent immigrants from accessing benefits for which they are eligible. DHS has published an advance notice of proposed rulemaking, ANPRM, to solicit data and information from the public, including from state, territorial, local and tribal agencies that administer public benefits programs, and from nonprofit organizations. The public comment period is open for 60 days, beginning Monday, August 23, 2021, and closing October 22, 2021. Now, let's see some more news related to U.S. immigration. Number 1. U.S. moves to reshape and speed up asylum processing along the southern border. In an effort to reduce the backlog in immigration cases, the Biden administration has proposed an overhaul of the U.S. asylum system that could speed up the processing of asylum cases for migrants entering the U.S. at the southern border. According to Reuters, the government plans to hire an additional 1,000 asylum officers and 1,000 support staff. The policy is open to public comment before the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, finalizes it. Number 2. Judge strikes down Biden's ICE directive. Another setback for the Biden administration this week. A federal judge temporarily struck down a Biden administration policy that directed border agents to focus primarily on people with criminal records who posed threats to public safety. The directive was temporarily blocked by a federal judge Thursday, who ruled that border agents should be able to arrest and detain at their discretion without pre-approval from supervisors. Number 3. Asian American delegation meets Biden-Harris, discusses immigration, green card backlog. A delegation of the Asian American and Pacific Islander (AAPI) community on Thursday met U.S. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris to discuss a range of issues including hate crimes and immigration. The meeting took place at the White House in Washington, D.C., and also covered the matter of voting rights. Executive Director of Indian American Impact, Neil Makaja, said that he raised issues of immigration, voting rights and specifically green card backlog in context of explaining how country caps are remnants of exclusionary laws in the past, particularly enacted in the 1920s. He also told ANI that Biden has an acute awareness of the unfairness in the system. During the meeting, Biden added that the community is also critical in keeping the U.S. economy strong. But he further acknowledged that there is work to do on immigration, there's work to do on voting rights and so much more. On my first day in office, I signed an executive order to advance racial equity and a whole-of-government approach to address inequities and injustice in America from every agency, he remarked. And this group's input has been critical and continues to be critical to that approach. Number 4. Federal judge overturns discriminatory re-entry law. A decades-old law making it a felony to re-enter the U.S. after being deported is no more, after a ruling this week in Nevada. Judge Miranda Dew stated the law was unconstitutional, and said it was created with discriminatory intent. The law made it a crime for people to enter, re-enter, or try to enter the U.S. if they'd historically been denied admission to the U.S., or had been deported before. That's all we have for you in this bulletin. I hope you found this video helpful. We will release new video when more updates are available. U.S. Immigration Updates channel is dedicated to provide every information, visa processes that are required for your U.S. immigration journey. It is important to know about the United States immigration processing steps, visa application requirements, processing times, forms, fees and more. We will continue to provide every information for U.S. visitor visas such as B1 and B2, work visas such as L1A, L1B, H1B, student visas, green card, immigrant visas, EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4, EB5 and family-based immigrant visas. Thank you for visiting us today. We will see you in next video. If you haven't subscribed our channel yet, please subscribe our channel for more videos on U.S. immigration updates.